right? So no wonder why they come out the Newark airport, right? Their FAA aviation people are having mental breakdowns, getting stressed out, power outages, a long list of bullshit. Now, you'll hear all these things on the news, but what they won't tell you is that people are leaving the United States in drones. Droves of people are exiting America. You understand? For their personal safety and also for the safety of their family and loved ones. And look, they said they don't want immigrants here. So I don't blame the people from leaving. If they have the ability and opportunity to do so, why not? Why would I stay if I could just, you know what, I'm giving this place a break? They're not telling people that. They're not telling people that people are bailing out of America in high numbers by the thousands. They will never report that on the news, right? So no wonder why they come up with all these delayed tactics to lower and lessen people's ability to travel in and out of the United States, especially going out. Now, they limited it to go out, to come in first. Now they're limited people's ability to go out. You see? That's how they do. So they just want you how they want you. You can't be here in peace. They terrorize you. You understand? Stopping people in traffic stops, talking about, oh, you just broke this light, da 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 da. And all of a sudden, boom, ICE is at your door. Get out of this car. Where's your ID? Your real ID? All this other shit. You see? So now the people have had it and they decided, look, I want to leave America. I want to go back to a different country and live somewhere else. They don't want that either. So of course, that FAA guy who said, look, you'll see more of these power outages and more of these breakdowns at different airports in America. I'm pretty sure you will. Because they don't want people to, somebody got to run the plantation. Somebody got to keep that cotton gin going. Yeah, somebody got to keep their cotton gin going so they could stay rich, wealthy, and in power. You understand? So of course, yeah, they're going to slow travel. Yeah, they're going to mess things up. Yeah, they laid off a bunch of people so they don't have enough people to do the work. So the ones who are there are overworked, right? Probably underpaid. Hallmark, it's a typical thing. You know, overworked, underpaid. They're going to have mental breakdowns, stressed out, and put people's life in danger, right? Because you need air traffic control to manage these hundreds of airplanes that are circling around in the sky and to prevent another incident like what happened over the Potomac River with that American airline and that military helicopter. You don't want that again. Okay? Ever since these guys took over, travel has been a complete nightmare and disaster. From them firing people, laying people off, you'd have a bunch of airline mishaps, accidents. So many people died because of them. Okay? And now they don't want you to leave America. You see how they are? That's how they are. Peace.
You're being told to stay calm by people already halfway to the exit. The elite exodus has begun. They build their modern arks in secret while assuring you no flood is coming. The wealthiest 1% have spent $312 billion on apocalypse insurance since 2019. Their actions betray their words. The same tech CEO who tweets about long-term prosperity has commissioned a $57 million bunker in New Zealand. The banking executive who assures market stability on television has purchased 3,200 acres in remote Wyoming. They do not prepare for temporary disruption. They prepare for permanent descent. The luxury bunker industry has grown 700% since 2020. Underground complexes with 5-year food supplies, independent power generation, medical facilities, and defensive capabilities that rival military installations. Helicopter landing pads connected to private airstrips, evacuation protocols tested quarterly. The modern nobility prepares while the modern serfs are told to wait. Invitation-only continuity groups gather quarterly. Billionaires exchange proprietary collapse forecasts, private communication networks independent of public infrastructure. The elite exodus reveals the prophecy they won't speak aloud. The center cannot hold. The systems are failing. The collapse approaches. Their preparation is not survival. It is secession. This is not conspiracy. This is history repeating with technological precision. The patricians abandoned Rome before the fall. The aristocrats fled France before the revolution. The party officials escaped the Soviet collapse with wealth intact. The bunkers are not being built to weather temporary storms. They are monuments to abandonment, cathedrals of betrayal. While they tell you to trust the system, they build escape hatches from it. You were not meant to know this. The private jets with predetermined evacuation routes, the stockpiled medicines unavailable to the public, the intelligence briefings they receive while feeding you comforting lies. They are not preparing for the end of the world. They are preparing for the end of your world. The question isn't whether they believe collapse is coming. The question is why they want you to believe it isn't. You're being
Shalom, y'all. Ron Dalton here with another special announcement. A couple weeks ago, I did a Zoom webinar on the topic, where is the true biblical Mount Zion? Is it in sub-Saharan Africa or is it in the Middle East? The biblical Mount Zion. In Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 40, it says, Mount Zion is a high mountain. Even in the Hebrew Strongs, it uses the word for high in it. So it's not just a mountain, it is a high mountain. However, Mount Zion and the city of Jerusalem in modern-day Israel only differ by 10 meters. Let me say that again. The difference in height between the city of Jerusalem and Mount Zion in Jerusalem only is 10 meters. So if you're standing in Jerusalem and you want to see Mount Zion, at its highest point, it is only 10 meters higher than Jerusalem. 10 meters, which is only 32 feet. So the Bible says, Ezekiel 20, verse 40, that Mount Zion is a high mountain, not just a mountain, a high mountain. But Mount Zion, or the place called Mount Zion, that you can actually walk to in less than a minute or two from Jerusalem, it is only 3 basketball rims higher than Jerusalem. Now, this contradicts what the Bible says. So where is the true biblical Mount Zion? That's in Jerusalem. Well, it's not in modern-day Israel. It's in sub-Saharan Africa. You guys need to check out the Zoom webinar lesson I did on where is the true biblical Mount Zion. Is it in sub-Saharan Africa or the Middle East? I did this about 2 weeks ago, and everybody on the Zoom call, after I showed the videos and the proof, they were blown away. They were completely blown away and wanted a recording of the Zoom lesson. So you guys, you need to start to understand, wake up your eyes to the fact that modern day Israel is not the true land of Canaan. It is not the land of the Israelites. It is not the Holy Land. It is not the land of milk and honey. They have deceived us just as they have kept hidden our Israelite identity for thousands of years. Why wouldn't Satan and his minions hide the true location of our homeland if they can hide our identity for so long? We have to start paying attention and wake up to reality. This is why none of the Israelite leaders today in the Israelite community, the top Israelite leaders, I'm going to say it again, none of the top Israelite leaders today in the Israelite community is going to debate me on who are the Canaanites and where is the true land of Canaan, because they don't want to try to answer who are the real Canaanites today, because they know that they can't come up with some nonsense that the Canaanites are white people. They have to acknowledge that they exist today and that they are black people, and that the land of Ham, aka Africa, is where the true land of Canaan is at. So you guys, there's reasons why they will not address or discuss or talk about who are the biblical Canaanites today, where are they located, what names do they go by in terms of tribal names today, and what land do they say that they are indigenous to, what land does their genetics say they are indigenous to, because this is very important in proving where the true land of Canaan is at. Nevertheless, brothers and sisters out there, we need to find out where the true biblical Mount Zion, because where Mount Zion is at, that's where the true Jerusalem and the land of Canaan is at. Check it out on h2ntv.com. Check it out, the video on www.h2ntv.com. This is what all your Israelite leaders are afraid of. Shalom.
In the Bible, Christ tells us that one of the signs of the end of the world is deception. Distraction is considered by many to be a tool of deception. But what else will happen in the last days? There will be wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, tsunamis, earthquakes, meteors falling to the earth, celestial signs, economic collapses, social decline, violence, the lack of love, food shortages, hunger, hyperinflation, sexual immorality, idolatry, blasphemy, false prophets, false Christs. and the fall of mystery Babylon, which hearkens the fall of the last ruling kingdom on earth. But there is one prophecy that is often overlooked and understudied in the Abrahamic faiths, and that is the prophecy of Gog and Magog, which is directly tied to the Battle of Armageddon, in which God delivers a final judgment to the nations a part of Gog and Magog's army. The people of Gog and Magog's massive army is recognized in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. In Islam, Ya'juj and Ma'juj are trapped in a faraway land, but when the day of judgment comes, they will all gather together to conquer the world. In the book of Ezekiel 38 and Revelation 20 in the Holy Bible, it describes how the nations in this massive army of Gog and Magog will leave their homeland to come to the land of the true Israelites, to steal, plunder, and exploit the land and all the resources within it that the true Israelites are in possession of. They will cover the Holy Land of the Israelites like a massive cloud with their people, and at the end they wage war against the Israelites, in which the Most High will destroy them. Knowing all of this, why doesn't the Christian community, Hebrew Israelite community, Jewish community, and Muslim community have any answers about who comprises the nations of Gog and Magog's army today? The book of Genesis records Noah's son Japheth as having 7 sons: Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, Tiras, Madai, the progenitor of the Medes Persians, and Javan, the progenitor of the Greeks and Romans. Gog and Magog's prophecy in Ezekiel 38 lists 5 of these sons of Japheth as the nations who will come to the true Holy Land of Israel, covering it like a massive cloud. These Japhetic-speaking nations are not the descendants of Greek speakers or Roman Latin speakers, but are nations today speaking other Japhetic languages, such as Celtic, Germanic, Slavic, Turkic, Altaic, and Sino-Tibetan. So why is knowing who the nations of Gog and Magog's army is today so important? Because if we know who these nations are, including which land they are covering right now like a cloud, for the purpose of plundering and exploitation, we will know for the first time in history where is the true Holy Land of God's chosen people, also known as the land of Canaan. In the new movie Hebrews to Negroes 3, sound the alarm, Gog and Magog's army versus the Israelites. Find out who is who in this end of days biblical prophecy, and where the true land of the Israelites are. You owe it to yourself to know the truth. Satan's aim is to deceive the whole world, and Yah's aim is for us to receive truth, because the truth will set us free.